Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of PSLE Maths Secrets Review. In today's episode, I'll be showing you how to solve this very simple question that you often see in those top school papers, assessment books and whatnot. And I'll be showing you two different methods, the model method and also the ratio method. If you want to know how to do both, stay all the way till the end. And without further ado, let's do a deep dive into this question. Jamie paid $63 for a bag and two pencil cases. So usually I'll circle this. I'll do my annotation. I'll underline a bag and two pencil cases. And they inform us that the price of a pencil case was 2/5 the price of the bag. This means that the numerator 2, I'll actually circle it. I'll point to the left and I will label it as PC for pencil case. Denominator 5, I will circle it and point to the back. So this is what we mean by when there's a fraction between two characters. The numerator will circle, will point left, and the denominator will circle, it will point towards the right. And the question is actually asking us, how much did Jamie pay for the bag? So we're only looking for the bag. And I would like to use blue color to show you how the model is meant to be drawn. And I will start with a very simple stacking model for one bag and one pencil case. So one bag, one pencil case. And from what I gather, the bag is 5 units, pencil case will be 2 units. So very simple, no frills at all. So our bag, we got to make sure that we see 5 boxes, we see 5 units. It doesn't matter if your model is, not nicely drawn. So long as you can understand, so long as the teacher can understand your drawing, this is more than good enough. So back, I will ensure that there are 5 units, and I will do that by putting one U for units inside every box. For the pencil case, 2 units, and I would like to stack another 2 more units below. And there we have it, our one bag and our 2 pencil cases. And from there, I can actually show that altogether $63. And what are we supposed to find? We need to find the price of the bag. Okay, and this translates to 5 units. Okay, translates to 5 units. Nice. Alright, so 5 units for the bag, 2 units each for each pencil case. And if I were to proceed with this model approach, I realize that 9 units has got to be 63. Because if I start counting, 5 units for the bag, 2 units for every pencil case. Since I have 2 pencil cases, that is actually 4 units. Plus the 5 units from the bag, and this gives us 9 units. So 9 units for 63, I can easily get 1 unit. And that will be 63 divided by 9. And this leads us to 7. And last but not least, how much did Jamie pay for the bag? So Jamie paid 5 units for the bag. So with a bag that costs 5 units, it will be 7 times 5, leading us to 35. And our answer will be $35. Just a reminder guys, that this question has got to be solved in about 2 minutes if I'm solving this under exam conditions. Alright, so now I would like to show you how I will approach this if I'm using ratio. Okay, ratio. So I can compare the price for a bag and a pencil case. So notice that I'm using red color to show you the ratio. So the price of the bag, okay, let me just write it properly. Pencil case. So bag itself is like 5 units. Our pencil case will be 2 units based on the fraction 2/5. And if I proceed further with 1 bag and 2 pencil cases, the total has got to be 5 units plus 2 units plus another 2 units. And this all leads us to 9 units. So once we get here, we know that we are almost done, because the equations will be the same whether I'm using the model approach or the ratio approach. Guys, if you enjoyed today's video or you got anything out of it whatsoever, please hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. Also comment below, let us know where you guys are tuning in from. That's always good for us to know. And finally, if you are new to this channel and you haven't already, remember, hit the subscribe, hit the notifications button. There's a little bell sign, by the way, because this year we are committed to making weekly videos to hold you accountable and to make this your best year in mathematics. But for now, this teacher is signing off. Bye bye.